shot 30 just to make sure that I'm feeling good. Now I'll move back real quick.
Well, out here chasing coos and javelina, if we can find some, or mule deer, or just big bucks. That's what we're chasing. But so far we have not put eyes on a shooter. We've seen a lot of does. We've seen a couple good coos deer bucks, borderline, that we'd probably shoot maybe if they gave us the chance. But so far we've just been flinging arrows and getting more dialed. Camped in the camper last night, did a podcast with a few of the guys around here, Corey Ford from Angry Spike Productions and Brent Hahn with Valkyrie, and Jack Lander, Golden Rosie. Hung out with some friends, and Ryan's got his eyes on about 50 does, but hasn't seen a buck either. So dry. It's a lot different than it has been the last few years. The grass is ankle deep instead of knee to waist high. It's pretty dry, and it doesn't seem like the rut has done much yet. So we could be in for a slow season. But you never know. Could pick up in a week or so. But I think this dry conditions have got the deer really concentrated in the areas where there's feed, and there's just not that many areas like that, at least for the mule deer. The coos deer, they seem more resilient, they're scattered about where you'd normally see them, but they're just not rutting yet.
Yeah, hopefully we can turn up some bucks and get one or two killed. But for the meantime, I'm gonna just make sure we're dialed and shoot some more arrows.
Pretty good, man.
Feeling good. So now we just need to transfer that over on a big deer. Yeah, I got him. Our wind is at our back. Yeah, he's not a giant, but he's pretty. Yeah, he's a good looking buck. I think there's a good chance he's an older regress buck. Or he just that's the best genetics he was given. See how quiet it is. Oh yeah. He's by far the best buck. By far. That other 3x3 around here and the other ones I've seen, he's just by far better. Is pigging out on those cactuses. Dude, I saw one pick one off and lift her head up to the sky to kind of balance it, and like she was gonna eat it like a seagull or something, grabbing it and cluck, 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 like a fish, It's like, what the heck is she doing? Like she's gonna eat the prickly pear off, prickles and everything.
It's crazy down the same hill. Crazy. Well, Brad and I were trying to find this big 3x4 buck that we saw yesterday. He's a heavy, mature buck, nice buck. We're standing on the ridge he was on last night, and he was with 5 or 6 does, and we watched those does feed off of this ridge and go down this cut this morning, but we didn't see the buck with him. He may have run his course with those does and moved out. We don't know, but we haven't been able to put eyes on him yet. We're just searching all over trying to find him, glassing all these ridges. He's the only buck we've really found. He's the biggest mule deer we've found so far. He's a nice buck, but he may have ditched these does in the middle of the night and moved off to someplace better. But we won't know. We'll have to keep looking. Well, we're kind of pinned down at the moment. It's dead quiet. There's not even a little bit of wind, nothing. And all the deer are on this ridge, skyline. We're on this ridge, also skyline. And there's a lot of deer. The buck is over there. It's about 200 yards. This morning the buck was 40 yards from us, but we had no shot. We'll have to just wait and see. Might be that we have to come back tomorrow. Just back out at some point, but we'll see what happens. We'll probably just sit here all day. Those deer, we just watched them walk over onto this knob. They're right on the ridge, and they're still sitting there, milling around at the top. This is where they were last night. They're in the exact same spot. They're just walking down the hill, kind of chilling. We'll have to keep an eye on them to see where they go, but it's a good sign. They look like they're moving down the ridge to someplace better. Well, we are 200 yards from this group of deer. They're all bedded as far as I can tell, except for one doe. She keeps getting up to feed, mill around whenever the sun gets behind some clouds and the sun goes away. She stands up and browses a little bit. The buck went over the ridge toward the bottom. He could be better right on the ridge. We can't quite see. I don't think they left because there's like 10 does that didn't leave either. And this is the same spot they've been 2 days in a row on this hillside, so very possible that this buck is just right there in front of us. And we're gonna try not to blow him out. Just keep an eye, see if we can get some luck on our side. It's too quiet to move around. I mean, there's not even a light breeze hardly. There is because a little bit of cloud just came in, but when those clouds go away, it's dead quiet. Those are the mean streets of Arizona.
Getting a little action with the little guys. One buck's like broke off, and the other one's just a small 2-point as well. But the broke off buck thinks he's the macho man right now.
That's funny.
He's raking the brush with his one antler. So we had these little bucks and these does kind of feed up into this draw. And Ben has got eyes on the big buck, so we're gonna slip around, get into this other saddle, come up on the backside, kind of get in a better position where, with the wind direction, if they feed around this side or that side, we're in a good spot. So just gonna try and get over there and get ready for an evening hunt. So we laid eyes back on the buck we were on last night. So we got a good glassing vantage up here where we can see them. We're just going to kind of watch them, see what they do, see where they go, but we'll just get some phone scope footage of him right now. He's a handsome guy. He's real baskety. He's not real wide, but he's fairly tall, deep forks. Just a good buck.
What happened last night?
Well, we got in close. We got in tight, but we had so many deer around us that we were just hoping he would slip in closer, but with all those eyes around, it was hard to film it, but also keep eyes on the buck, and we had great wind, just couldn't quite get it done, so we ended up backing out, and we didn't blow them much, and they've just fed up that draw from last night to this morning.
I don't think there's much of a play right now. The wind's pretty still. I mean, this morning there's no wind. This is the thing with hunting this area, is when there's no wind, it's real tough. And even yesterday, thankfully it got a little windy on that top, and let us move around a little bit. I don't think any other hunters, they're cruising around, but I don't think any other hunters have seen him. We're looking around. That's the name of the game. Some of these areas is to see if there's any other hunters on points looking at him. But so far, looks like we might have him to ourselves. Oh, that is one messed up lens. Holy moly.
Told you.
You see the scratch that Brad put in it?
Yeah.
It's gigantic, isn't it?
I swear
on my life, my kid's life.
He still denies it was him, but it was.
There's a big old scratch and a big old
As soon as I
chip.
It's funny, we're sitting here glassing this buck, and we know he's going to get up and rebed because it's just too hot in the sun where they're at. So we've been watching him, not sure where he's going to go. He did his chivalrous move, which Ben has observed a number of times yesterday while we were putting the stock on him. Apparently he likes to kick the does out of their beds in the shade, and then
he just plops right down in that spot. He just goes from doe to doe. I assume he's checking them, but then he's like, this looks like a good comfy spot. I'll take this one. At least 3 times yesterday he bumped them out of their bed.
And they say chivalry is dead.
Those does just need to grow a backbone and say, hey, it's mine. I'm not giving it up. He's a good buck. Best one we've seen. Best one. Mule deer wise, he's not the biggest one, but he's the biggest one that we've been able to hunt.
Yeah.
It's hard. I got a good glimpse of a bigger one down in the flats, but it's so hard to get eyes on him. It's too thick down there.
Brad.
Should I pull it out and stick it in further?
Dang it. That's cruel.
Everything out here, if it doesn't bite you, it will prick you or stick you, I promise. I took video of a doe the other day, or took a picture, and she's got like a jumping cactus stuck on her nose, and so it has to hurt. I mean, I know when I get them in my arm or my hand, they really hurt, but it's just, they're tough animals out here. It's crazy what they go through, especially like a year like this with not much water. I just think they're eating on those cactuses to get, the most moisture they can without going to a water tank somewhere.
I've seen these deer with the jumping cactuses stuck all over their face and their chin.
Yeah.
They don't seem to care.
I haven't seen as many mule deer, but like the coos bucks we watched last year, those barrel cactuses, you have the yellow flower on top.
Yeah.
All the time, see them picking that yellow flower off there and eating it.
I watched this buck do that.
Yeah.
Yesterday. Just got up there and ate the top of the cactus. Coos deer have to stand up on their hind legs to get to the top of a 3-foot cactus.
Yeah, it's funny. He's a good buck. He's a great mature buck. Yeah, I think he's older than I thought. So he's got a little bit bigger body than I originally thought he had, and he's got a real white face. But he's got the mass, and he's got real deep forks. He's got real deep forks, but
Ben, this microphone picks up everything you're doing. That means you need to be quiet. Are you capable? The burp? We don't need that.
That's real. You're all about getting the reality of what's going on. The burps, when people have to fart and burp, that's real.
No one can hear with that package crinkling while you're trying to talk at the same time.
Have you ever seen those little books about everyone poops? Do I need to share you with that book? It's what happens.
Shut your mouth for a minute. It's hard to... we are related. I'm not sure how. We are authentic. There's that. But other than that, I don't know what we have in common. The farting, but everyone does that. Every human has that in common, right?
yeah, it's true.
I forgot what I was saying.
How do you turn this thing on?
He's bedded. I don't think you can really see him with that now. I filmed him bed, I think.
Yeah, he should be in the frame there, but he's just behind that brush.
Yeah, he looks like a nice deer. Real nice deer.
Yeah, he's a mature buck for sure.
But he's over there kicking does out of their beds and taking them. It's pretty flat on that top. It's not the most stalkable location, and we need some better wind than this. We might just end up watching him most of the day. But I wouldn't be surprised if they made their way back to their top, by tonight.
Yep.
They love it up there the last few days. And if they settle in and they go back,
yeah, especially,
we know how to kill them there.
Especially they got all this thick cover down in the bottom in this ravine.
Because look at where they're at. They could just cruise down that cut, and they're right where they want to be.
Yep.
They're halfway between the water source and the hill, which I suspect they got water at some point, and then they're just kind of milling around in between where they like to spend most of their time. But we don't know. We've only been keeping eyes on them for 3 days or so.
Yeah, you better kill him.
I know Brad's got to take off today in about an hour.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Arizona 2021.
It's over.
Bust for me. Had opportunities, but just it's a lot different year than it was last year.
Everyone we talked to, Ryan's out there glassing all of our haunts, every place, and looking for new ones. Lamper still has not seen a big mule deer yet.
See, and I even
He's seen a few coos bucks, and so have we, but they're not rutting at all. And last year they were going nuts. You'd see a coos run 500 yards that way and run 500 yards back chasing does, and you're not seeing any of that this year.
See, and I'm going to call Ryan out because I sent him pins of where I saw fantastic bucks, and he couldn't even turn up a deer.
Not a deer.
So
you were there 3 days before and
Yeah.
saw a giant buck.
Yeah.
Ryan went back and he didn't even see a deer.
He's not the glasser that everybody thinks he is, guys. I'm just letting you know that. No. Just kidding, man. If anybody can find him, Ryan can. It's just a weird year this year.
Yeah. Nobody's seeing much. It's so dry. This guy that drove by earlier, he's an old coot. He's like he's never seen it this dry. He's hunting here his whole life.
So I came down for opening, December 11th, the opening day, and I was up on my favorite glassing knob, and I was trying to walk up there to get up there, and there's this rancher. Well, actually, I didn't know what he was. Some guy on a horse starts following me, follows me up to the top, and he's like, "Hey, young little whippersnapper, I know you got some good little optics there. I'm looking for some cows. You mind looking for them?" So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm going to be looking. If I see your cows, I'll let you know. So he sat there and he talked to me for an hour or so. And he said he's been ranching here for 20, 30 years. And this is the driest he's ever had it. He was actually buying some water off of the construction crews that were building the wall and trucking it up to an area right there on top and just dumping it on the ground in a big old spot so the cows can have something to drink, so they wouldn't have to travel forever. There's a real nice watering hole that was full of water last year that's dry. So only the really, really good water holes.
It's really the man-made stuff that has water.
Yeah, I think that's all there really is. That's all I've seen. I'm sure there's some natural stuff, but I haven't seen any.
No, if Arizona, they didn't provide water on years like this, they'd have mass die-off.
Yeah, and a lot of them are built for the cows, and the deer, everything else just benefit because of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a nice old guy. It was hilarious. He gave me his cell phone number because I never saw it. And then right at dark, they came out of this really deep wash from bedded down, and I saw his cows. So I called the number. It's just this lady. Apparently it's his wife. She's like, what? I'm like, hey, it's John or whatever his name was. And she's like, oh yeah. And she goes, John. And they started arguing. She's like, what? Why is he calling my number? Why? He's like, Mom, I forgot. I can't. These stupid phones. He starts going up. I don't know which number is yours and which is mine, but they're just over here. She's just ripping him a new one for giving out her phone number. And I was like, hey, I saw your cows here and here. Oh yeah, great. Thanks. I'll go check it out. So it was a hoot.
By this week, the last couple years, they were rutting hard and going nuts. So everything's slow. The mule deer aren't rutting hardly at all.
Yeah,
and the coos deer haven't started.
Last year was, especially for the coos, last year was just awesome because those coos were traveling like crazy. The big bucks were coming out. I mean, it's like the one stalk I guess I put on the day I killed mine. I was on the big boy and just couldn't get it done, and then later that evening circled around and killed that buck. But it was just, they were everywhere pushing each other and fighting.
Maybe the rut will kick in a little more over the next week, but then I gotta head home. You got here about a week before me, so I got about, I don't know, a week and maybe less, and then I gotta get out of here. So did see some javelina, and cousin Ben has a tag, so we might go kill a javelina
or some coyote.
We'll see. Still got some days ahead. Well, I haven't done an update in about 5 days. Once Brad left, I really haven't run the camera that much. Ben left to go back to work for 3 or 4 days. Got back here yesterday. I've been on my buck. I'm calling my buck because he's going to be mine. But I've been on this buck for over a week. And he's hard to relocate. I've only not found him. In a 7-day window, I found him five of those days. It's been a little tough to pick him up. Sometimes I only pick him up at the last hours of the day, but I kind of have him figured out a little bit. But they got pushed all over. Yesterday was Saturday, and they just got chased by 50 different hunters. What's really interesting is I told Ben, I was like, let's get to this point we're at right now where we're glassing from. I said, I've seen them return to the scene of the crime. They seem to make their way over here into this big flat when the pressure heats up, and sure enough, they're 200 yards from us under this hill. So we're watching them. They know we're watching them. They don't seem too bothered by cars. A lot of the deer here don't seem too bothered by cars. It's just if you leave the road, then they'll run a mile. But right now we're just keeping eyes on him. It's been a tough hunt. I've had this buck at 55 yards, 60 yards, 80 yards, lots of times within 80, multiple stalks a day. I just keep getting busted. There's so many does. I had him, my best chance, I had him at 55 yards. Deader than dead. I knew I was going to get him, except there was one doe that kept wandering closer and closer and closer. She was 25 yards from me, and she just kept staring at me. And it's still and quiet, and she just looked and looked and looked and looked, and even though I had a clear shot at him, I couldn't move. And then finally she stomped her feet and blew her nose, and they all ran off. And that's been the story. I mean, every time I get in tight, he's got 30 does or 20 does with him that one of them sees me. One day, Ben and I were on him. This was earlier in the week, and he was with one doe, one spike, and one fawn. And I got to about 30 yards of him, but didn't have a shot. And then he just got up and walked off. No reason. Just walked off just before I could get a clear shot. Just because he's rutting, and that's what they do. Maybe 5 more minutes, 3 more minutes, and I'd have been able to just smoke him at 30 yards. But, man, it was heartbreaking. But that's been the story. That's archery hunting. So right now we're just keeping an eye on them, see where they go. Hopefully no other hunters bump them. We're kind of in a good spot, keeping other hunters away from them. And I don't think other hunters are going to see him today. So we might be able to work him if he beds down. We need a little bit of weather. It's just too quiet. There's no wind, nothing. So we'll see. We'll keep you posted on what goes on. I've been so close to killing him. So many times. That guy has 9 lives. Yesterday, he should have been dead. You need a little luck. Every now and then you just need something to go your way a little bit. He stood at 70 yards, 70 to 80 yards for an hour. Just standing there like that. And I wanted to shoot him, but the wind was blowing so hard,
It just wasn't a good shot. I want a shot I know I'll make. For sure. I don't want to take a chance on a shot.
Ryan,
Yeah.
how come this buck's not dead?
I don't know. He's got a lot of does. That's the problem. The biggest problem.
They all have a lot of does.
Everywhere. Look, there's does on this map. I don't know how you get in on them. I think we gotta go find another buck. Another giant buck. With one doe. Or 2 or 3 or 5. But when there's like 30 does on the mountain, and he's in the middle of them, that's tough. That's real tough.
Let me let you in on a little secret. So far, every big buck I've seen has had at least 30 or 40 does with it.
Yeah.
He's a pretty deer. I'm kind of obsessed with him at this point.
That's a heavy buck, man. That would be a great buck to get. He looks old. He's really heavy. Kind of has darkish horns to him, too. It's a classy looking buck right there, man.
I want him dead.
Yeah, well, got one more day to get him, so we'll see if he puts himself in the wrong spot today. But oh boy, I think I'm gonna keep glassing everything else and see if we can find another buck with a few less does. It's tough.
I'm down with that plan. Yeah, I pretty much got to roll on home tomorrow. Got eyes on my buck. Yesterday, I waited all day until late in the evening. Ryan was glassing with me. And we eventually, the buck moved up this ridge with the wind in my favor. So I crept over the ridge and then slowly crept into 80 yards. He's perfect, broadside. I could see him, but when I drew my bow, 80's a long shot, but he was stationary, and I thought, I can do this. But it was too dark. I couldn't see through the peep. Not good enough anyway. I didn't feel comfortable, so I just kind of backed out. There was like 15 does with him all bedded up. I've passed on a lot of 80 and 70 yard shots this trip because the wind has been too intense. But he's over there now. There's a lot of trucks driving around, and there's a guy who parked down canyon of the buck suspiciously. But maybe he's just glassing. It's been my experience. Most people, they don't see the deer. There were dudes parked right on this knob glass and they didn't see the buck. I glassed him. You know, they just, I don't know what it is. They're not, they often don't see him. So if you just sit still and look hard enough, you'll find these deer. Anyway, the plan, I'm gonna go right back to where I was last night, creep onto that bench and sit there all day, I think, and hope they come my direction. It's awful quiet today to try to creep in on them, but I kind of know a pattern they're under, and it's likely that they come right back. The way they're rutting and pushing and shoving, it's not unlikely that they go right back to where they were. Well, I went on a brief foray for that buck. Had him bedded with that doe in a perfect spot. Little cut. I think I was going to get to 60 yards of him. But as I got down in there and I was real close, he got up and they rutted over the hill. So now I'm back at square one. It's kind of the way it goes during the rut, you know. They don't know we're here, but now I gotta make a new plan. But he's going right back to where he was last night when I had him at 80 yards at last light. So I know that spot, and if I can get to that ridge and peek over, there's a good chance I kill him. But Brent Hahn from Valkyrie Archery has been helping me the last 2 days out here with Ryan. Ryan is off scouting another spot right now. He hasn't seen anything. He texted me earlier. He hasn't seen any any big bucks. So, with this big buck, if he goes over this ridge, where I want him to go actually, there's a good chance I can get him before the day is out. This is why self-filming bow hunts is kind of dumb. You can't hunt and film at the same time with a bow. You can do it with a rifle. I can't. Well, I shouldn't say you can't. You can. Tim Burnett and Remy Warren do it all the time. Well, not all the time. But you're taking something that's already really tough and you're making it next level. Nearly impossible. But anyway, I'll just bring you along anyway. I had eyes on the buck on that ridge, and I came down here to get in position. I can get to 75 yards of him, but the wind, with this heat, the wind just keeps shifting. It's blowing up, it's blowing down, there's nothing consistent. Normally it should blow downhill, but it's not. So, now I'm kind of just, waiting down here until it gets later in the day, and hopefully he goes over the ridge where he was and beds down and does the same thing today, later in the day, as he did last night. But with the wind being as shifty as it is, blowing back and forth, nothing consistent, I can't really move in on him right now. I need a wind that can be more reliable. But it should, as it gets later in the day, the wind should pick up and blow pretty hard in my favor. And then I think I can get in close.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I just got that buck. I can't believe it. So many days chasing him, working my butt off. Oh gosh. I crept up here. I've been here all day down on the bottom of this cut, and I had a hunch that if I came right here, he was going to come around this base right here, and right where this gravel bar was a spot we marked. And I came up here earlier, but the wind was blowing straight up, so I backed out, and two does came over the top and got on the gravel bar, and they slowly crept out of here. So I knew I was cutting it close. I knew that the second the wind had changed, if I could get right in this spot, he would walk through it. And sure enough, the wind was kind of sketchy. It was wanting to go hard in my face, and then it would blow back up, but I knew it was like probably ready to stay stuck. And so I crept up here, and they shifted a few times, and then by the time I got here, they were coming around, and then the wind held the whole time, and I almost shot him 3 or 4 times as he came through, and then finally he came right onto this bench, and they were down deep in this cut, and I was like, I'm not going to get a shot, you got to be kidding me, because he was 40 yards, and then he went up on the side of the hill just for a second, gave me my shot, and I think I pinwheeled him. I have Brent Hahn from Valkyrie Archery, my buddy Brent, he's at the top of this knob, and he basically had eyes on the buck the whole time, and I just called him, and he said, Brian, he ran over and cartwheeled. Oh, I think he's down. Holy cow, what a week. What 2 weeks? It's been a grind. I wish I could have filmed more for you guys, but it's so hard to self-film a bow hunt, but I've been after this buck for 2 weeks. I've been wanting him so bad. He's not like a super high scoring buck, but he's got a lot of mass, and he's bladed, and he's mature. But I just settled that pin. I took my time. I didn't rush any shots. As they were coming down this draw, I was like, take a good shot or don't take a shot at all. And sure enough, he gave me that, and I just held tight, and I thought I punched him through. I got this Garmin Zero because it's legal here in Arizona, and it's so nice because I didn't have to worry whether I was at full draw a long time, because he came through here at 65, then he came here at 50, 55, and I didn't have any good shots. And finally he came through and stood there and gave me a 40-yard shot. I was like, okay. And the whole time, you know, I don't have to guess. I don't have to worry. It gives me that single pin exact marker, and I just know with confidence I can just put that pin there and then just let it rip. And I was using the Valkyrie Archery mechanical broadhead, mostly because I was planning on killing a coos. But once I got down here and onto these mule deer, I started chasing the mule deer here. But that mechanical broadside, it's a 180 grain mechanical. It's a heavy mechanical, and it's got a big cutting diameter. I thought I'd test it on some mule deer, test it on the coos deer, whichever came first. I don't think I'd use it on elk, although I've heard some guys have. But I need to see if I can find my arrow. It looked like it fully passed through, so I'm gonna see if I can go find it. But guys, I think I got that Arizona archery tag notched. Over the counter, public land, Arizona. It's a grind, but so many hunters. Finally it worked out though. Oh, I couldn't have done it without Brent and my cousin Ben. They helped me find this buck so many times. Over and over. I'd lose him and then I'd find him again. I'd lose him and I'd find him again. But yeah, he's got 9 lives. I finally was able to do it. Today's my last day. I have to leave in the morning. I was like, come on, baby. It's so funny with archery because you're up here and you're doing this and sometimes it seems like this is impossible, you know? And I didn't do any great stock or anything. I just got a feel for their patterns and I got in position and I waited for him to come. And he could have gone the other way and then I'd go home without a punch tag. But as it happened, you know, you put in enough days and enough time, and not everybody has this much time as I do. It's a luxury for me, given what I do for a living. So I was able to put in a good 10-day hunt. And just being right here, I mean, every day grinding, got me in the right spot, and it worked out. I can't believe it worked out. I'm in shock. That's how you know it's good. You know, that's how you know when it feels this good, when it's this much of a shock, when you're like, no way that just happened. So, gotta find my arrow and then see if I can put my hands on him. Well, that's the broadhead there. Busted off. Mechanical. It looked like it went a full pass through and then hit that rock. Covered in blood. So, show Brent I found it. Get on the blood here. Yeah, here he is. Oh, jeez. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Can't believe it. It happened.
Good news.
Hey, cousin.
You did it, ain't you?
I did it.
You dog. Woo!
Yeah.
Details.
Oh, man.
Oh, so bittersweet. Dude, I don't know why it surprises me every time. The last day, the last hour.
Yeah. I don't know why either. It's just, that's what it takes, you know? You just can't quit.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't believe it, man.
I can't believe it either.
Oh, yeah. Well, doesn't it seem impossible sometimes?
Yeah.
But
golly.
there's so much history with this buck. Ben, I can't believe it, man. I couldn't have done it, man. You helped me keep tabs on him for a week. And
It's been more than a week.
Oh, I know, about 10 days. But it did give me, I started to figure out what he was doing, and that bench is magical, you know? Oh, Ben, I got to tell you all about it. I'm going to get off the phone right now, but I'll call you a little later.
Me know, on your drive home, when you get some time, give me a call.
Okay, dude, 43 yards.
Awesome. Send me a nice close-up picture, too. I want to see how close-up, what does he look like?
Okay. Sounds good.
Bye.
Thanks, cuz. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Nice buck. What do you think, Brent?
Dude, that's awesome. I
No?
thought they were going to go above you, but then I was like, they're probably going to end up right where the other deer did. And
Yeah.
guess what?
They came right to me.
Yeah.
He curved around the top, and I saw the doe first. She was good 30, 40 yards ahead of him.
Yeah.
But they weren't giving me any shots. There was so much brush.
I was like, oh my God, there's no shot. I'm like, you got to get it.
Did you see me at full draw forever?
Yeah, I told you. Well, I thought you were going to shoot them when they were like up above you.
I
But I
thought
wasn't
about
sure
it, but
if
it
you
was
could shoot
60
them.
yards and 65.
Then they got in pretty tight, didn't
Well, I could only see heads.
they? Oh, yeah.
The roll of the hill blocked their view.
Hard to see that.
And then when she did come around, she gave me a window at 45 yards, but it was too quick.
Yeah, they wouldn't
And
stop.
I didn't want to look. I've done the whole whoop,
I
stuff
almost
like
jumped
that.
Up. I almost stood up and went.
But I've found that if I'm just patient,
Yeah.
they'll stop on their own and give me the shot. Every now and then, it's like they notice something.
Yeah. He saw you when he was coming over.
He did.
He looked at you and just went, eh.
Yep.
Kept going. It was kind
Yep.
of cool.
They've been doing that the last 3 days. That's what the rut is magical. Because a week ago, when they did that, they ran.
Yeah.
But she kind of did the same thing. Nah. And then when she came up on that bump, and then I was like, okay, I ranged her. She was 43 yards. And then he came up, stopped, stood right in her spot. I put the pin. I don't like to hug the shoulder. I've lost too many deer that way. So I go to the middle of the body and I move it forward. And then I was looking at where the exit was because he wasn't totally broadside. He was out in front of me. So it exited behind the other shoulder.
Good.
So
Let's get a
arrow
big-
went clean through him, buried in the dirt on the other side. But dude, the blood coming out of his mouth, like just piles.
Yeah. But it's good to see he broke ribs going in on that mechanical. But it should. It's
Yeah.
like
When he stepped up on that ridge, I was like, all right, finally you gave me.
and he almost started
My
walking and he
chance.
stopped. And I'm like, and I couldn't even see you. I just had my eyes on him.
Look
And
at
he
that height. I took that shot pretty quick.
You got your zero going on that?
Yep. It was nice because the whole time I was ranging, I had
I
65
saw
yards.
you messing around.
And then I had,
over
I ranged just with the rangefinder to see what was around me.
Yeah.
But once I came to full draw, I was like 70, 65, 55, 45, 47. It was so nice because I didn't have to worry about it. And then when he stepped up on that ridge, I don't know how far he is. So much is happening so fast.
Yeah.
But 43, pin drop, boom,
Yeah.
punched him. But see how the height is perfect? It's because I don't have to pin gap.
Yeah.
I like that precision in the heat of the moment there.
They do have big ears.
Don't they?
Those are monster ears.
They are.
Cool buck.
I'm stoked.
Dude, it
I
worked
couldn't
out
be happier.
finally. You stuck with it.
Seriously, so cliche, right?
Time and time again.
This is my last day.
But see, people are gonna think it's easy to come get a bunch of shots down here. It's not easy.
No.
I haven't even had a shot, and I've been here. This is my third week.
I couldn't have done it without you, Brent, because
It's so hard.
Brent has eyes. I go on the stalk, and then Brent calls me and says, "Hey, Brian, they left. They went to another area." And then I'm like, "All right, back to the knob I go." Look at that Roman nose, man.
I know, cool.
I mean, that is pronounced. He's pretty old. Look how bleached he is, you know? His hide. He's just a different color.
I like the curl on the eye guards too. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. I like the bladed action.
I know. It's a cool buck. It's a good buck.
Yeah, you know, this spot up in here is no good.
No.
And I don't like aiming this close, so tight to the shoulder. I think a lot of guys do, even with elk. And there's a lot of kill zone back here. And especially with him quartering away a little bit. I used to come down and move back, and I just found I'm hugging this space too much. So nowadays I come to the middle and I move forward. And I get myself kind of right in there. And if I'm off left or right, I got a big window. It's just mentally, that's what works for me. Especially for elk, you know, as lungs go so far back, and it's been working out for me. So, dude, I can't believe this. I can't believe it. Yes, I'm stoked, man. This is one of my favorite bucks of all time, just because of the challenges, you know. Hey, Ryan.
What's happening?
I'm standing here next to my buck.
You got him?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's sweet, dude.
Yep.
That's awesome.
He's heavy. He's bladed. He's nice. He's not, like we said, he's not super high scoring, but he's just a big buck. He's an old buck. Archery, over the counter, Arizona. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just outside his ears.
Yeah.
But he's heavy. He's stubby, but he's thick mass. He
looks really heavy.
He went over that bench. You know, and I was on him last night at 80 yards.
That's cool.
So, anyway,
Yeah. Right on.
just in time. This is my last day, dude. I had to leave in the morning, so.
Down to the wire. Yeah, for sure. Brent with you over there too?
Yeah, Brent was up on the knob. Yeah, and Brent saw him go down from the ridge.
Oh, cool.
He's like, he went down. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, well, I can't see him, but I saw him go and get up and fall again. So, yeah.
Heck yeah. Wow. That's sweet. That's the best kind of hunt ever right there. 10 days.
Ryan, I was losing hope, man. A little bit of hope.
I know, I could tell. Oh, that's sweet. Well, send me a picture.
Okay.
I'm going to get up this thing, get some eyes on some area, and then I'll head your way tonight.
All right. See you in a while.
Right.
Thanks, man.
See ya.
Bye.
I think that is a stud. Look at those eye guards. Oh man, he's bladed here. Looks like he's gonna sprout some. Nice heavy buck, man.
He's kind of got that basketball shape, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He's pretty. Dang, congrats. That's a lot of days
I know.
on this buck.
If I was a better hunter, I'd have killed him a week ago.
Oh, yeah, he's old, huh?
Yeah, look how
Roman nose
Roman
on
nose
him.
he's got on him, man.
Yep. Gosh. Figure you'd get him. Last day,
Yeah.
I knew you'd probably get in on him.
It
You
was
messaged me, you said you were going for him. So with less does.
Yeah, it was just him and the doe when I got
Just
him.
him and a doe, huh?
Yeah.
Gosh, that's perfect.
She led him to his demise.
Yeah.
That's what women do.
Yep. Love it.
Thanks, man.
That's a good AZ buck right there.
Well, he's all broke down. I cooked up the tenderloins on the Traeger grill, the portable out there. Getting ready to have a little sweet potato and mule deer tenderloin. Little celebration. Ryan took off to the top of the mountain. He wants to be there first thing in the morning where we saw that big 4. That buck is on the target list. And so he's gone. So it's just me celebrating with tenderloins. I'm lonesome. It's all right. I didn't really want to share anyway. Hey folks, I hope you guys enjoyed that gritty film. This YouTube channel is exclusively hunt films. There's no other content published here. So if you like this video and you want to see more like it, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a gritty film production. And if you want to see more behind the scenes gear discussions and other podcast content, check out our other YouTube channel, Gritty Gear and Podcast. And for gritty discounts, events, and merch, check out our website at briancall.com.